Hi readers, welcome to our channel, Authors and Books. Today we are going to know about Robert Henryson. Robert Henryson was a Scottish poet who lived around 1460 to 1500. He was one of the Scots Makars, a group of important poets, and lived in Dunfermline. He was a key figure in the Northern Renaissance, a time when medieval and Renaissance cultures were merging. Not much is known about his life, but it is believed he was a teacher, with training in law and the humanities. He had connections to Dunfermline Abbey and possibly Glasgow University. Henryson wrote in Middle Scots, the official language of Scotland at the time. His poetry is mainly made up of stories, and almost 5,000 lines of his work still exist. Henryson's surviving works include 3 long poems and about 12 shorter ones in different styles. The longest poem is Moral Fablies, a series of 13 fables, with nearly 3,000 lines. 2 other long poems, each over 600 lines, are The Tale of Orpheus and Eurydice's His China, a creative take on the Orpheus myth, and Testament of Cressid, which continues the story of Cressid from Chaucer's Troilus and Cressid, with a tragic and psychological depth. Scholar Emily Wingfield has studied its importance in the political use of the Trojan legend between England and Scotland. Henryson's shorter works include Robin and Makar, a love-themed pastoral, a humorous attack on the medical practices of his time, a well-crafted poem devoted to the Virgin Mary, some allegorical and philosophical pieces, and a prayer against the plague. Like his longer poems, these shorter works often have deeper meanings. We can't be sure about the exact order in which Henryson wrote his works, but The Tale of Orpheus might have been written earlier, possibly during his time in Glasgow, as one of its main sources was in the university library. Some evidence suggests Moral Fablies was written in the 1480s. There are no records of when or where Robert Henryson was born or educated. The first possible reference to him is from the 10th of September 1462, when someone with his name got a teaching license at the newly founded University of Glasgow. If this was the poet, it suggests he studied arts and canon law. Most early references link Henryson to Dunfermline. He probably had ties to the city's Benedictine Abbey, a significant burial site for kings, and a pilgrimage centre near a major ferry route to St. Andrews. In 1478, his name appears on abbey charters, possibly indicating he worked as a notary for the abbey, which managed extensive lands across Scotland. Henryson is commonly referred to as a schoolmaster, likely meaning he taught at and helped run the grammar school in Dunfermline. A document from 1468 mentions a provision to build a house for a priest, the grammar master, and students, including poor scholars, taught for free. Dunfermline, as a royal borough, was often visited by the court. Although there's no record of Henryson as a court poet, he likely knew the royal household. He was active during the reigns of James II and James IV, both of whom were interested in literature. The poet William Dunbar mentioned that Henryson died in Dunfermline. An unverified story by English poet Francis Kynaston from the early 17th century suggests he died of dysentery, but this isn't confirmed. The year of his death is also unknown, though it might have been around 1498 to 1499, during a plague in Dunfermline. Dunbar's poem Lament for the Makaris, likely written around 1505, suggests Henryson had died by then. Almost nothing else is known about Henryson, outside his surviving works. It's unclear if he was originally from Dunfermline, and there's no proof he was related to the Fife branch of Clan Henderson, although his name suggests a connection. Henryson often wrote in a first-person voice, with a friendly tone, quickly engaging the reader and sharing his personality and beliefs. His writing stays connected to daily life, even when dealing with complex themes or fantastic elements. He wrote in smooth, concise Scots, showing his knowledge of Latin, and set his scenes in evocative Scottish settings, reflecting his close observation and connection to his environment. This detailed and realistic approach suggests personal experiences and attitudes toward contemporary events, but the specifics are unclear, intriguing readers and critics. This intrigue may partly be accidental, but it's also enhanced by his careful use of a philosophy of fiction, a key feature of his work. Although no concrete details about his life can be directly inferred from his works, some passages suggest autobiographical elements, especially in the opening stanzas of his Testament of Cressid. Henryson wrote in the Scots language of the 15th century. At that time, many parts of Europe were starting to use local languages for literature instead of Latin, which had long been the common language across the continent. Extant poems. Here are all the known and surviving writings attributed to Robert Henryson. Additionally, the scholar Matthew P. McDiarmid discovered in an index a lost poem by Henryson that began, "On foot by forth as I couth found, long works, the moral fables of Aesop the Phrygian. See below for the list of individual fables, the tale of Orpheus, and Eurydice's his Cinna, the Testament of Cressid, short works, Robin and Makine, some practices of medicine, the Annunciation, ain prayer for the pest, the garment of God Ladies, the bloody cirque, the Furdeed Pulleys, against hasty credence, the Abbey walk, the praise of age, the wrestling betwixt age and youth, the wrestling betwixt death and man, individual fables, 7 stories in Henryson's cycle, are Aesopian fables, from the elegiac Romulus texts, and the other 6 are Renardian, in Jorah. The titles with bold numbers show the overall structure of the collection. 1. The Cock and the Jasp. 2. The Twa Mice. 3. The Cock and the Fox. 4. The Confession of the Tod. 5. The Trial of the Tod. 6. The Sheep and the Dog. 7. The Lion and the Mouse. 8. The Preaching of the Swallow. 9. The Fox, the Wolf, and the Cadger. 10. The Fox, the Wolf, and the Husbandman. 11. The Wolf and the Weather. 12. The Wolf and the Lamb. 13. The Paddock and the Mouse. Bibliography. Here are some books about Robert Henryson.